Krishna hoite chaturmukha, hoya Krishna sevanmukha. Brahma hoite Narade Ramati, Narada hoite Vyasa, Marva kahe Vyasa dasa. Purna pragyan padmana bhagati, Paramahangse Shishambho Niyangi Karakare Akshobhyera Shishanjaya Kirtaname Parichaya Taradase Jnana Sindhutare Taha hoite Dayanidhi Dasya Vijnanidhi Rajendra hoilo taha hoite Tahara Kinkara Jaya Dhammaname Parichaya Parampara Jano Bhalomate Jaya Dharma Dasya Khyati Shri Purushottama Jati Tahate Brahmanyate Tasuri Vyasate Tatara Dasa Lakshmipati Vyasa Dasa Tahate Madhavendra Puri Madhavendra Puri Vara Shishya Vara Shishwara Nityananda Shri Advaita Vibhu Ishwara Puri Ke Dhanya Korilena Shri Chaitanya Jagat Guru Gora Mahaprabhu Mahaprabhu Shri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Hai Anya Rupanuga Janara Jivana Vishambhara Priyankara Shri Swarupa Damodara Shri Goswami Rupa Sanatana Rupa Priya Mahajana Jivara Gunatahana Tara Priya Kave Krishna Dasa Krishna Dasa Priya Vara Narottama Seva Para Parapjara Vishwanatha Yasha Vishwanatha Bhakta Sata Baladeva Jagannatha Tara Priya Shri Bhakti Vinoda Mahabhagavata Vara Shri Gaura Kishora Vara Hari Bhajana Tejara Moda Shri Varshavana Vivara Sara Sevya Seva Para Tahara Daita Dasanama Prabhupada Antaranga Shri Swarupa Rupanuga Shri Keshava Bhakti Pragyana Gauriya Vedanta Vedamaya Vadata Mohanta Gauravani Prachara Chadhama Pracharilo Gauravani Bhakti Vedanta Swami Purailo Prabhu Parakama Keshav Priya Mahajana Jivan Prachara Keshav Priya Mahajana Vamanarayana Hanu Gauravani Tadarpana Dhana Hey Sava Hari Jan Gaurangera Nija Jana Tadara Uchiste Marakama Guru Paramparam Guru Paramparam Paramparam Guru 86. वृंदावनवासी जतो वैष्णवेरा गाना प्रथमे वंदना करी सबर चराना नीलाचलवासी जतो महाप्रभु गाना भूमिते पदिया बंदो सबर चराना नवद्वीपवासी जतो महाप्रभु भक्त सभर चरण बंद होय अनुरक्त महाप्रभु भक्त जतो कुलदेश स्थिति सभर चरण बंद करिया प्रणाति जय देशे वैसे गौरांगरा गाना नुर्बाहु गौरी वंद सबर चराना भयाचे न होइबेन प्रभु जत दास सबर चरण बंद बंद करे घास ब्रह्मांड तरित शक्ति धर जन जाने हे वेद पुराण गुण गाय देव सुने महाप्रभु गण सब पतित पवन तैलवे मोय पापे रहिनु शरण वंदना करिते मोय कत शक्ति धरि राम बुद्धि दशे मोय धम्म मात्र करि तथापि मुखेरा भाग्य मनेरा उल्लास दश क्षमी मोय धामे कर निज दास सर्ववंश सिद्धि होय यम भंड च्युते जगते दुर्लभ होय प्रेम धन लूते मनेर वसन पूर्ण अचिरते होया देवकी नंदना दश हे लोवे गाय जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर 200. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Vande Rupa Sanatana Bhatara Gunata Shri Jiva Gopala Bhata Dasara Gunata Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Divedaya Kori Sapasharasiya Dhama Sahaya Bhatari Atanta Durlabha Prema Kori Paredana Shikaye Sharanagati Akatera Prana Danyayatma Nivedana Kapipe Varana Avasya Rakshive Krishna Vishwasapalana Bhaktiyanukula Matra Karana Svikara Gornitai. Let's do, what about Goranga Bolite Habe? Where did it go? Page. Jadi Goranga Naito Tabeki. Do you remember the page? Just Goranga Bolite Habe. Oh, thanks. Goranga Bolite Habe Pulaka Sharira Hari Hari Bolite Na Yane Babenira Goranga Bolite Habe Pulaka Sharira Benita Chadet Karuna Haibe Chadet Karuna Haibe Sangsara Vasana Moran Kabe Tu Chahabe Sangsara Vasana Moran Kabe Tu Chahabe Vishaya Chadiya Kabe Shivahare Mana Kabe hama herabo Shri Vrindavana Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haibe Yakute Kabe hama bujha bose Jugala pirete Bujha bose Rupa Raghunatha Pade Raghu Morayasha Pratana karo ye sada Narottama dasa Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Do you read the translation? When will the hair on my body stand on end upon chanting Gauranga? When will my eyes overflow with tears upon chanting Hari Hari? And when will the moon like Nityananda Prabhu bestow his mercy upon me? When will my material desires become insignificant? When will my mind, as a result of my renouncing material enjoyment, become purified? When will I behold Sri Vrindavan? When will I develop eagerness for the lotus feet of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, and by whose mercy I will be able to understand the love, priti, of the divine couple? Let all my hopes and aspirations remain at the lotus feet of Sri Rup and Sri Raghunath Das. This is the constant prayer of Narottam Das. Srila Narottam Das Thakur ki.
Hari Hari Kabe Mora Hoi Vesudina Hoi Vesudina Vajiva Shri Radha Krishna Hoya Premadina Shri Radha Krishna Vaina Premadina Suyanche Misaya Gaba Sumadhuratan Suyanche Misaya Gaba Sumadhuratan Anande Rupa Gunagana Anande Karivadua Rupa Gunagana Radhika Govinda Boli Kandi Bauchai Sware Radhika Govinda Sakalanga Nayane Jive Sakalanga Nayane Pargaruna Kara Rupa Sanata Karuna Kara Rupa Sanata Raghunatha Dasa Mara Shri Jiva Jiva Samara Shri Jiva Jiva Parakaruna Kara Lalita Vishaka Parakaruna Kara Lalita Vishaka Sakya Bhave Shridham Suva Adi Saka Sare Nila Kaya Daya Puruk Morasha Nila Kaya Daya Asa Prarthana Karo Sada Madhiva Shri Radha Krishna Oya Premadina Madhiva Shri Radha Krishna Oya Premadina Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Jaya Krishna, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Krishna, Jaya Sachinanda, Jaya Gaurari, Sachinanda, Jaya Gaurari, Jaya Sachinanda, Jaya Gaurari, Sachinanda, Jaya Gaurari, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gauda, Haribo, Nitai Gauda, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gauda, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya, Nitai Gauda, Haribo, 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 Gauda, Haribo, Gauda, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gauda, Nitai Gauda, Haribo, 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 Gauda, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gauda, Haribo, Nitai Gauda, Haribo, 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 Gauda, Haribo, Nitai Gauda, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gauda, Haribo, Nitai Gauda, Premanande, Hari Haribo. Oh Hari, when will that auspicious day be mine, when I will serve Sri Sri Radha Krishna, being controlled by prema? Accompanied by musical instruments, I will sing sweet melodies. In great bliss, I shall perform songs that glorify the form and qualities of the divine couple. While singing Radhika Govinda, I will weep loudly, and my entire body will become soaked by the tears from my eyes. O Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, O my life and soul, be merciful to me now. O Lalite, Hey Vishake, O Sridham, Subal, and other friends in Sakya Bhav, be merciful to me now. All of you together, please be merciful and let my desires be fulfilled. Narottam Das constantly prays in this way. Shri Narottam Das Thakur Ki Jai. Prayers full of longing for perfection Ki Jai. Shri Ratha Yatra Ki Jai. Sachinanda Gaura Hari Ki Jai. You want to do the Astakam? Or should we start the Katha? Or we could do the Astakam at the end. After we hear everything. Might be kind of nice. Yeah. Okay, chalo.
Where is Jagannath now?
I don't know, I guess he went to Vindicha.
Already? Oh my gosh.
He left. Yeah. He's on his cart. Hare Krishna. Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tvedalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yam Pravrijantam Manupesmapeta Kritam Dvaipayano Virahaka Tarva Juhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Benedus Tam Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munimanatosmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Chittasya Kamaditarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charanada Vrindam Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vijaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanam Pike Kripayati Adiradha Bhadita Shesha Bhadha Kimapada Vishistam Pushti Marya Dvayormi Yadi Vadati Chakinchit Smeraha Sodita Shir Dvijavara Mani Panktya Mukti Shuktya Tadakim Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekhara Smeraha Samurali Manohara Radhika Rasikama Kripa Nidhe Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Pranhanata Vishabhanu Nandini Shrimukha Jarasalola Satapada Radhika Padatale Krita Stitim Tvam Vidhyami Rasikenja Shekhara Samnidhaya Dhasane Chinam Vivo Prartaye Rajamahendra Nandana Astu Mohana Tavati Vallabha Janma Janmani Madhishwari Priya. First of all, I'm offering unlimited heartfelt Dandavat pranams at the dust of the lotus feet of my worshipful spiritual master, Om Vishnu Parashta to the Sati Shishimati Shamrani Didi. Similarly to my Param Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Parashta to the Sati Shishimati Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, and my Shiksha Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Parashta to the Sati Shishimati Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, the entire Rupa Nuga Varga, and all assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. So today is the very auspicious day of Lord Jagannath's Ratha Yatra and the celebration of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's observance of this festival. As Sri Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we celebrate the festival of Jagannath Ratha Yatra, especially in relationship with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Actually, this festival has been going on since practically the beginning of the universe. Our Gurudev Srila Narayan Goswami Maharaj gives some wonderful histories in this book, The Origin of Ratha Yatra, describing how Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra appeared. One with a king Indrajumna. In the beginning, he was a king in the very beginning of Brahma's day, and he had a pastime. He desired to find a deity named Neel Madhav. I won't give the whole pastime because it's extensive. But he was looking for this deity, Neel Madhav, and he sent one of his, I believe he was his government official or someone working under him named Vidyapati. And this Vidyapati, he found this Thakurji, Neel Madhav. And the king Indrajumna, he was obsessed with this Thakurji. Where's Neel Madhav? And he sent everyone to go find in all four directions, please find this Thakurji. But he couldn't find it, and eventually he went with Lord Brahma to Vaikuntha to get darshan of his Thakurji, Neel Madhav. Neel Madhav was a Narayan Vishnu form in Vaikuntha, and he actually heard Narayan's voice from the air telling him what to do and to go up and to see him. But he said that and this history is given in Puranas and other places, and sometimes there's some subtle differences, but the essence is there. And he said, my deity of Neil Madhav will not again come to this world. He was there, but he left. But I want you to go to the ocean and wait for me, and I will come as a giant log from the ocean. And so he said, okay, I'll wait. And there's a whole beautiful pastime about how he found this log, and eventually they got it up by Vidyapati's wife and another king, Vishwasanu, who was involved. They carried the log to this great hall, and he wanted the deity carved out of the log. And he hired all different craftsmen to come, artisans or carpenters to come to carve this deity out of this log. But no matter how sharp their tools were, they couldn't touch the log. But then there was one carpenter who came, who was a Brahmana, and he brought special tools, and he said, I will carve the Thakurji. And this was actually Krishna. This was actually Neil Madhav himself coming. And so he said, okay, very well. He said, but under one, let's say, stipulation, you have to close the doors and no one come in for 21 days. And then after that period, you can come in and you can get darshan. And he said, okay, so be it. But when they were waiting, they didn't hear anything going on in the hall. No sound at all. And so then the king's wife started asking him, he hasn't come out to eat or drink or sleep. What's going on in there? What if he dies in there? Then we will be at fault for killing a Brahmana. You should go in there and check on him. But the king was very confused because he said, well, but I took a vow not to enter in. But he got convinced and he went in, and it's described a couple different ways. But when he went in, the deity was just large round eyes, Sri Jagannath Dev. And so sometimes it's told that he said, that no one was in there. Sometimes it's described that he was there. But either way, he heard the voice of Jagannath and Neil Madhav say, this is actually how I wish to be worshipped. This is my desire. And there's some very, very deep reasons. And so, it told King Indradyumna exactly how to celebrate the Ratha Yatra festival, that Jagannath would be to be installed in the Jagannath temple in Puri, and that actually King Indradyumna's wife, her name is Gundicha, and so then her temple was named Gundicha after her. And so for this particular festival, Jagannath would be brought on a cart. Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra would be brought on a cart to the Gundicha temple for some time. And then after, I believe, 9 days, then going back. So like that, this festival was being celebrated from practically the beginning of Lord Brahma's day. Yeah.
How did Baladev and Subhadra manifest?
I think also there was 3 logs.
Okay.
Yeah. It's interesting because there's so many variations of it. Maybe because it's from Satya Yuga. And also, Srila Gurudev says, maybe in different universes it's like that. Kalpabhed. So like that. But it wasn't until 500 years ago that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shed a new light on what really is the deeper meanings of this festival, and that there's very deep meanings to this festival. And Srila Gurudev has brought a lot of that out in this book, and also Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Srila Prabhupada, of course, manifesting that grantha to us in his purports. And so there's a lot going on all at once. But this is actually the real, what is the Ratha Yatra festival, is understanding who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and what is he relishing during this festival. And so, yeah.
Why wasn't it revealed earlier? Why did it take so long?
I haven't heard directly, so I'm mentally speculating, but my imagination is because only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could actually tell what is the meaning of it, because he's Radha and Krishna themselves. And there was 2 other people during the festival, even when it was going on 500 years ago when Mahaprabhu was celebrating it. Only 2 people actually knew what Mahaprabhu was experiencing. That was Swarup Damodar and Sri Rupa Goswami. And Sri Rupa Goswami wrote a verse later on, and he composed a beautiful verse describing the moods of Sri Radha. And when Mahaprabhu went to Rupa Goswami's hut, he saw the verse and he read it, and he grabbed Rupa Goswami on his lap and he slapped him, and he said, "How do you know my heart?" He was joking with him, very sweet. So actually, even then, people didn't really know, which is amazing that we know all these things by the mercy of our Guru Varga. So basically, I think the reason why it was brought to light by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only is because only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates who know his heart, like Swarup Damodar, who's Lalita Sakhi, like basically the second form of Srimati Radharani, and Rupa Goswami, Shri Rupa Manjri. Of course, these associates, they know Shri Radha's moods, and this is why Krishna, he came as Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to taste these moods. Srila Gurudev said he entered into the school of the gopis. And we have this beautiful verse from Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Swarup Damodar explaining the 3 greeds that Krishna had to taste what is the nature of Srimati Radharani's love that completely controls me. Krishna is completely mad and controlled by the prema of Sri Radha, like a leaf of a creeper that's just blown around by any direction of the wind. Any way the wind blows, then the creeper has to go that way. So even though Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan, he's completely rendered helpless by the power of the prema of Sri Radha. And then secondly, what is the beauty in me that she alone relishes completely and fullest? Because even Krishna is described, he saw himself in the mirror and he became so attracted to, how is someone so beautiful? Krishna is so beautiful. But according to the prema in the heart of the devotee, they see Krishna. Everyone sees a Krishna according to their own relationship. Like it's described when Krishna was entering into the arena of Kams, the wrestling arena. Everyone saw Krishna in a certain light, in a certain way. So the associates of Braj, they're seeing Krishna without any Aishwarya and the maximum prema according to their ras. And Sri Radha she's Mahabhav Swarupini. She has the highest concentration of love for Sri Krishna. So she also experiences the highest amount of sweetness when she sees Krishna. And Krishna also notices and experiences how she reacts to him, tasting, his madhuri, the sound of his flute, his rup, his pastimes, all these things, his love. He doesn't understand how, like even sometimes when they're sitting together, that famous pastime is told by Srila Gurudev at Prem Sarovar, that there was a little bumblebee when they were sitting together that came, and Marumanga was there, and he said, he chased away this bee away from Sri Radha, and he said, "Don't worry, Madhusudan is gone." And just hearing that threw her in such a deep separation that she practically fainted in Sri Krishna's lap, in separation of Krishna, but Krishna's holding her. And so he's bewildered. He's thinking, what? So he can't understand how she's tasting these madhuris. And then the third thing is, what is the bliss that she relishes? Because she has more happiness than he has when they have loving exchanges. So with these 3 greeds, it's explained, Krishna begged to take the mood of Srimati Radhika. And of course, she is Seva Rani, she's the supreme servant of Krishna, so of course she fulfilled Krishna's desire. But she said, if you experience my moods, it will be so intense that you will fall to the ground and you will hit the ground. And I can't bear the thought of your soft skin getting hurt and hitting the ground, so also I will cover you. So she gave her bhav and her kanti, her mood and her complexion. So she is called Gauranga, And so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also Gauranga, Golden Limbed. And so internal reason, Premyas, Niryas, Kariteya, Swadan. Krishna, his internal purpose is he's relishing these moods of Srimati Radharani. And this was greatly manifest to the world through this Ratha Yatra festival in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's experience. Sorry, I know this is very complex, but it's so nectarian and important to go in and try to hear all these exalted things. I obviously don't know, but I've heard from Srimati Shamrani Didi explaining all these things, and she explains that there's 3 different moods of Sri Radha. They're all Sri Radha, but 3 different moods. In Navadvip, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually one time someone asked this question to Srila Gurudev that just as Krishna is in Vrindavan and he leaves Vrindavan to go to Mathura, and then he's called Mathuresh Krishna. He's a separate Krishna, different Prakosht, actually Vishnu, because Krishna never takes a step out of Vrindavan. And also similarly, he goes to Dwarka, and he's Dwarkadish. And so they asked this question, since Krishna is seen in these different Prakosht, should we also see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like that? Like, this is Navadvip Mahaprabhu, this is Jagannath Puri Mahaprabhu. And he said, there's something fundamentally wrong with this question. He said that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should always be seen through the mood of Sri Radha, not Krishna. Because Krishna doesn't want to taste that mood. He already has that mood of Krishna. His purpose is to taste the moods of Sri Radha. And this is why he didn't spend very long in Vrindavan, because he was getting all this udipan of I'm Krishna. He said, okay, I have to leave this place. And so, don't worry, this is all completely relevant to the Ratha Yatra and important foundation so that we can go into the reading and understand what we're hearing. And so in Navadvip, Navadvip is called Abhina Vrindavan, non-different than Vrindavan. And so in this Navadvip, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is experiencing the mood of Sri Radha in Vrindavan. And her name is Vrishabhanu Nandini, right? And they have not so much separation, Radha and Krishna there. You get to see every day, basically every day, every night. And of course, everything's concentrated. Everything's in Vrindavan. So everything's in Navadvip. And when we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, it can seem like Sri Krishna Kaviraj Goswami is explaining most of the ecstatic moods of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being experienced actually out of Navadvip. But our Srila Gurudev says that everything is there in Navadvip and comes out like if you have number 4. 4 is automatically included in number 8 or in number 7, even though number 7 might be, it's actually a smaller number than a bigger number before, it's all included within that. And there's no Aishwarya also. And so in Jagannath Puri, the Ratha Yatra festival is all centered around the meaning of Kurukshetra. And so the beginning of this all started when Krishna left Vrindavan. He said, Parason, I will be back. Of course, Akrura came and he gave news that I'm taking Krishna to Mathura. And this threw all the Brijabasis in madness of separation. And the gopis met Krishna at Akrura's cart and they tried to throw themselves under the wheel and begging him, please don't go, please don't go. But he left. But he said, Parson, I will be back the day after tomorrow. But he lied and he didn't come back the day after tomorrow. He came back 70 years. And so at this point, when Krishna leaves, the mood of Sri Radha changes from Vrishabhanu Nandini, different, separate Prakosh, to what's called Viyogini. She's in long period of separation, very long period of separation. And she stays near Nandagram, she doesn't go home, she doesn't eat, nothing for this whole period. And And there it's described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Uddhava visits her. And so it's explained that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu follows the same progression. In Navadvip, he's experiencing this Vrishabhanu Nandini mood. And then in Jagannath Puri, in the Gambhira, in his later pastimes, he's experiencing this Viyogini separation mood. Long periods of separation. And this is when he's stuck in the Gambhira and he's rubbing his face against the wall and going mad and tasting this very deep separation mood. But the separation mood is viraha, means a very special meeting, because the separation itself nourishes when they do get to meet, makes it more exciting, and there's intense meaning internally, because if Krishna's in one place, then I see Krishna there. But if Krishna's nowhere, then I see Krishna everywhere, and especially in my heart. And for those residents of Vrindavan, Krishna actually is fully present with them in their heart in this separation period. So even though it seems like suffering, somehow inconceivably and beautifully and amazingly, it's the highest state of love, highest state of prema. And Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says that separation even dances on the head of meeting. It's even higher ecstatic thing. So we can see how Krishna, he wants to relish this viraha mood of Srimati Radhika. And so after this very long period of separation, there was a solar eclipse, and the Brijavasis and the Dwarkavasis, everyone got invited to all meet at Kuruksetra, at Kuruksetra. And so everyone came. Krishna came, all the Brijavasis came after not seeing him for so long. And so this was a very important opportunity, because Krishna had also been in intense separation from the Brijavasis. And there's long, beautiful pastime about everything that happened there. And Krishna snuck away into the lap of Mother Yashoda, and Mother Yashoda cried and breastfed him and all this stuff. And Devaki saw it, and she was making some joke about how, Mother Yashoda, you're so merciful that you took care of another one's child your whole life. She was like jealous or something like that. But and then Krishna and Mother Yashoda, they didn't even hear her, because of course Krishna belongs to Yashoda Mai. And then also Krishna got to see his gopis, and he got to see Shri Radha. But when the gopis approached Shri Krishna at Kuruksetra, he had what's called Raja Vesh. Vesh, like a king. He was on a palanquin. He had a crown, like on Bhagavad Gita painting. Golden armor, Bhishma, all the Pandavas, horses, elephants, cavalry, like he's like a Kshatriya, a king, Dwarkadish Krishna. Even though he's that same Krishna, the atmosphere is totally different. And so Sri Radha is seeing Krishna after so long, so long, but it's the same Krishna, it's the same Radha, but where is Vrindavan? Vrindavan is missing. No peacock feather, no flute, no bank of the Yamuna, no cool breeze, nothing like that. And so there's a very specific and unique type of separation being tasted there. And so during the festival, Ratha Yatra, this is exactly what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was experiencing in the festival. And so, and Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra, there's more histories given that give more explanation, but Jagannath is like Dwarkadish Krishna. And when the gopis see Krishna, they want to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. They want to bring Krishna into their heart, which is Vrindavan. They say, we don't want to see you like this. We want to have you in Vrindavan. And they're suffering like anything, saying, why are you like this? Come with us. And not for themselves, but they know that only this will make Krishna happy. And so the festival of Ratha Yatra is really the chariot of the hearts of the gopis pulling Krishna back to Vrindavan. So it has everything to do with the relationship of the love of the Brijavasis headed by the gopis, headed by Srimati Radharani, and this weird Aishwarya mood that they don't like at all. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was relishing like this, like anything, doing kirtan in front of Jagannath Dev. And Jagannath is so bewildered, he's like falling over and moving slow, trying to keep up with these moves of Sri Radha, and she's controlling him in every way, and very amazing. And so that's the basic foundation. And then from there, I think we can read Chaitanya Charitamrita. And if anyone wants to do a deep dive on this book is simply phenomenal. It explains everything in so much more depth. Okay. And there's also this pastime before the cart gets rolling with King Prataparuja that's very famous. The king, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is a sannyasi, and so Mahaprabhu was kind of ignoring him because he said, I'm a sannyasi, it's not appropriate for me to meet with a kingly person, a pounce and shillings man. But Mahaprabhu was just testing him and pulling on his heart because he was a pure devotee. He is a pure devotee. And King Prataparuja, he couldn't take it any longer, and he did some service before the carts went. Even though he was a king, he took this broom and he was sweeping out front of Jagannath. And this moved Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart so much that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him his association. And it happened in such a beautiful way that the carts took a break, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to rest in a garden. And he was laying in the garden, and they say, King Prataparuja, go in there, Mahaprabhu's in there. And he's been waiting to see Mahaprabhu for so long. And he went in there and he started singing verses from Gopi Gita. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was relishing like anything. And he said, who is singing? It's really sweet. We might catch that in here. Alrighty. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Everyone was astonished to see the decorations on the Rath cart. The car appeared to be newly made of gold, and it was high as Mount Sumeru. The decorations included bright mirrors and hundreds of chamras. On top of the car were a neat and clean canopy and very beautiful flag. The car was also decorated with silken cloth and various pictures. Many brass bells, gongs, and ankle bells rang. For the pastimes of the Ratha Yatra ceremony, Lord Jagannath got aboard one car, and his sister Subhadra and elder brother Balaram got aboard two other cars. Oh yeah, and then why Baladev and Subhadra went with them is also described, that because Krishna wanted to leave Dwarka to go to Vrindavan to see the Brijavasis, so he wanted to go with his brother and sister because then no one would be suspicious. For 15 days, the Lord had remained in a secluded place with the Supreme Goddess of Fortune and had performed his pastimes with her. Having taken permission from the Goddess of Fortune, the Lord came out to ride on the Ratha car and perform his pastimes for the pleasure of the devotees. The fine white sand spread all over the path resembled the bank of the Yamuna, and the small gardens on both sides looked just like those in Vrindavan. And so Gandicha is compared to be like Vrindavan. In this situation, it represents Vrindavan, but Gundicha is not Vrindavan. Navadvip is Vrindavan. Some people say that all these descriptions of Gundicha being Vrindavan are there in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but it's analogous because Krishna is going from Jagannath to Gundicha, representing Dwarka to Vrindavan. As Lord Jagannath rode in his car and saw the beauty on both sides, his mind was filled with pleasure. The pullers of the car were known as Godas, and they pulled with great pleasure. However, the car sometimes went very fast and sometimes very slow. Sometimes the car would stand still and not move, even though it was pulled very vigorously. The chariot therefore moved by the will of the Lord, not by the strength of any ordinary person. As the car stood still, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gathered all his devotees and with his own hand decorated them with flower garlands and sandalwood pulp. Paramananda Puri and Brahmananda Bharati were both personally given garlands and sandalwood pulp from the very hands of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This increased their transcendental pleasure. Similarly, when Advaita Acharya Nityananda Prabhu felt the touch of the transcendental hand of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were both very pleased. The Lord also gave garlands and sandalwood pulp to the performers of Sankirtan. The chief two performers were Swarup Damodar and Srivas Thakur. They were altogether 4 parties of Kirtan performers, comprising 24 chanters. In each party, there were also 2 mridanga players, making an additional 8 persons. When the 4 parties were formed, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after some consideration, divided the chanters. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Nityanand Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Haridas Thakur, and Vrikeshwar Pandit to dance in each of the 4 respective parties. Swarup Damodar was chosen as the leader of the first party and was given 5 assistants to respond to his chanting. The 5 who responded to the singing of Swarup Damodar were Damodar Pandit, Narayan, Govinda Dutt, Raghava Pandit, and Sri Govindananda. Dvaita Acharya Prabhu was ordered to dance in the first group. The Lord then formed another group with Srivas Thakur as the chief man. The 5 singers who responded to the singing of Srivas Thakur were Gangadas, Haridas, Shriman, Shubhananda, and Sri Ram Pandit. Sri Nityananda Prabhu was appointed as a dancer. Another group was formed consisting of Vasudev, Gopinath, and Murari. All these were responsive singers, and Mukunda was the chief singer. Another 2 persons, Shrikant and Balabhasen, joined as responsive singers. In this group, Haridas Thakur was the dancer. The Lord formed another group, appointing Govinda Ghosh as leader. In this group, the younger Haridas, Vishnudas, and Raghava were the responding singers. 2 brothers named Madhava Ghosh and Vasudev Ghosh also joined this group as responsive singers. Vrikeshwar Pandit was the dancer. There was a Sankirtan party from the village known as Kurunagaram, and Ramananda and Satyaraj were appointed the dancers in this group. All these Sankirtan parties. There was another party that came from Shantipur and was formed by Advaita Acharya. Achyutananda was the dancer and the rest of the men were singers. Another party was formed by the people of Kanda. These people were singing in a different place. In that group, Narahari Prabhu and Raghunanda were dancing. 4 parties chanted and danced in front of Lord Jagannath, and on both sides were 2 other parties. Another was at the rear. There were altogether 7 parties of Sankirtan, and in each party 2 men were beating drums. Thus, 14 drums were playing at once. The sound was tumultuous, and all the devotees became mad. All the Vaishnavas came together like an assembly of clouds. As the devotees chanted the holy names, tears fell in great ecstasy like rainfall from their eyes. So nice, huh? That's gonna be like tonight.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Awesome.
Yeah, with Maharaj. When the Sankirtan resounded, it filled the 3 worlds. Indeed, no one could hear mundane sounds or musical instruments other than the Sankirtan. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered through all 7 groups chanting the holy name, Hari Hari. Raising his arms, he shouted, all glories to Lord Jagannath. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then exhibited another mystic power by performing pastimes simultaneously in all 7 groups. Everyone said, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is present in my group. Indeed, he does not go anywhere else. He is bestowing his mercy upon us. Actually, no one could see the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Only the most confidential devotees, those in pure, unalloyed devotional service, could understand. Lord Jagannath was very pleased by the Sankirtan, and he brought his car to a standstill just to see the performance. King Prataparuja also was astonished to see the Sankirtan. He became inactive and was converted to ecstatic love of Krishna. When the king informed Kashi Mishra of the glories of the Lord, Kashi Mishra replied, O king, your fortune has no limit. The king and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya were both aware of the Lord's activities, but no one else could see the tricks of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only a person who has received the mercy of the Lord can understand. Without the Lord's mercy, even the demigods headed by Lord Brahma cannot understand. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very satisfied to see the king accept the menial task of sweeping the street, and for this humility the king received the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He could therefore observe the mystery of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities. Although the king was refused an interview, he was indirectly bestowed causeless mercy. Who can understand the internal potency of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? When the two great personalities, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Kashi Mishra, saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's causeless mercy upon the king, they were astonished. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed his pastimes for some time in this way. He personally sang and induced his personal associates to dance. According to his need, the Lord sometimes exhibited one form and sometimes many. This was being executed by his internal potency. Indeed, the personality of Godhead forgot himself in the course of his transcendental pastimes. But his internal potency, Lila Shakti, knowing the intentions of the Lord, made all arrangements. Okay. Just as Lord Shri Krishna formerly performed the Rasa Lila dance and other pastimes at Vrindavan, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed uncommon pastimes moment after moment. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing before the Ratha Yatra car could be perceived only by pure devotees. Others could not understand. Descriptions of Lord Krishna's uncommon dancing can be found in the revealed scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced in great jubilation and inundated all the people with waves of ecstatic love. Okay, here we go. Thus, Lord Jagannath mounted his car, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired all his devotees to dance in front of it. Now, please hear about Lord Jagannath's going to the Gundicha temple, while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced before the Rath car. The Lord performed kirtan for some time, and through his own endeavor inspired all the devotees to dance. When the Lord himself wanted to dance, all 7 groups combined together. The Lord's devotees, including Srivas, Ramai, Raghu, Govinda, Mukunda, Haridas, Govinda, Nanda, Madhava, and Govinda all combined together. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired to jump high while dancing, he placed these 9 people in the charge of Swarup Damodar. These devotees, Swarup Damodar and the devotees in his charge, sang along with the Lord, and they also ran beside him. All the other groups of men also sang. Offering obeisances to the Lord with folded hands, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu raised his face toward Jagannath and prayed as follows. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahman Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Krishna, who is the worshipable deity for all Brahminical men, who is the well-wisher of cows and brahmanas, and who is always benefiting the whole world. I offer my repeated obeisances to the personality of Godhead, known as Krishna and Govinda. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the Son of Devaki. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known as the light of the dynasty of Vrishni. All glories to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose bodily luster is like that of a new cloud, and whose body is as soft as a lotus flower. All glories to the Supreme Personality, who appeared on this planet to deliver the world from the burden of demons, and who can offer liberation to everyone. Lord Sri Krishna is he who is known as Jana Nivas, the ultimate resort of all living entities, and who is also known as Devaki Nandan or Yasoda Nandan, the son of Devaki and Yashoda. He is the guide of the Yadu dynasty, and with his mighty arms he kills everything inauspicious, as well as every man who is impious. By his presence he destroys all things inauspicious for all living entities moving and inert. His blissful smiling face always increases the lusty desires of the gopis of Vrindavan. May he be all glorious and happy. And then he chanted, Naham Vikrona Charanarapitir Napi Vaishya Nasujo Naham Grihapitir No Vanistir Jatir Va Kintu Bridoni Kila Paramananda Purnam Ritabdir Gopi Bharta Padakamalor Das Anandasa. I am not a Brahmana, I am not a Kshatriya, I am not a Vaishya or a Sudra, nor am I a Brahmachari, a householder, a Vanaprast, or a sannyasi. I identify myself only as the servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, the maintainer of the gopis. He is like an ocean of nectar, and he is the cause of universal transcendental bliss. He is always existing with brilliance. Having recited all these verses from scripture, the Lord again offered his obeisances, and all the devotees with folded hands also offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high, roaring like thunder and moving in a circle like a wheel, he appeared like a circling firebrand. Wherever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stepped while dancing, the whole earth, with its hills and seas, appeared to tilt. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced, he displayed various blissful transcendental changes in his body. Sometimes he appeared as though stunned. Sometimes the hairs of his body stood on end. Sometimes he perspired, cried, trembled, and changed color. And sometimes he exhibited symptoms of helplessness, pride, exuberance, and humility. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell down with a crash while dancing, he would roll on the ground. At such times, it appeared that a golden mountain was rolling on the ground. Nityananda Prabhu would stretch out his two hands and try to catch the Lord when he was running here and there. Advaita Acharya would walk behind the Lord and loudly chant, Hari Bol, again and again, just to check the crowds from coming too near to the Lord. They formed 3 circles. The first circle was guided by Nityananda Prabhu, who was Balaram himself, the possessor of great strength. All the devotees, headed by Kashishwar and Govinda, linked hands and formed a second circle around the Lord. Maharaj Prataparuja and his personal assistants formed a circle third around the 2 inner circles just to check the crowd from coming too near. With his hands on the shoulders of Hari Chandan, King Prataparuja could see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing, and the king felt great ecstasy. While the king beheld the dancing, Srivas Thakur, standing in front of him, became ecstatic as he saw the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Seeing Srivas Thakur standing before the king, Hari Chandan touched Srivas with his hand and requested him to step aside. Absorbed in watching Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dance, Srivas Thakur could not understand why he was being touched and pushed. After he was pushed again and again, he became angry. Srivas Thakur slapped Hari Chandan to stop him from pushing him. In turn, this made Hari Chandan angry. As the angered Hari Chandan was about to speak to Srivas Thakur, Prataparuja Maharaj personally stopped him. King Prataparuja said, "You are very fortunate, for you have been graced by the touch of Srivas Thakur. I am not so fortunate. You should feel obliged to him." Everyone was astonished by the dancing of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even Lord Jagannath became extremely happy to see him. The car came to a complete standstill and remained immobile, while Lord Jagannath, with unblinking eyes, watched the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The goddess of fortune, Subhadra, and Lord Balaram both felt great happiness and ecstasy within their hearts. Indeed, they were seen smiling at the dancing. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced and jumped high, 8 wonderful transformations indicative of divine ecstasy were seen in his body. All these symptoms were visible simultaneously. So these are all now coming Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic symptoms. Very intense. His skin erupted with goose pimples, and the hairs of his body stood on end. His body resembled the shimui, silk cotton tree, all covered with thorns. Indeed,
The people became afraid just to see his teeth chatter, and they even thought that his teeth would fall out. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's whole body flowed with perspiration, and at the same time oozed blood. He made the sounds Jaja Gaga, in a voice choked with ecstasy. Tears came forcefully from the eyes of the Lord, as if from a syringe, and all the people surrounded him became wet. Everyone saw the complexion of his body change from white to pink, so that his luster resembled that of a malika flower. That's like the jasmine flowers when they turn pink. Sometimes he appeared stunned, and sometimes he rolled on the ground. Indeed, sometimes his legs and hands became as hard as dry wood, and he did not move. When the Lord fell on the ground, sometimes his breathing almost stopped. When the devotees saw this, their lives also became very feeble. Water flowed from his eyes, and sometimes through his nostrils, and foam fell from his mouth. These flowings appeared to be torrents of nectar descending from the moon. The foam which fell from the mouth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taken and drunk by Shubhananda, because he was very fortunate and expert in relishing the mellow of ecstatic love of Krishna. After performing his devastating dance for some time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mind entered into a mood of ecstatic love. After abandoning the dancing, the Lord ordered Swarup Damodar to sing. Understanding his mind, Swarup Damodar began to sing as follows. Se ta parananata painu, ayaha lagi madana dahine jurigenu. Now I have gained the Lord of my life, in the absence of whom I was being burned by Cupid and was withering away. Now Srila Prabhupada's purport. This song refers to Srimati Radharani's meeting with Krishna at the holy place of Kurukshetra, where Lord Shri Krishna and his brother and sister came to visit when there was a solar eclipse. It is a song of separation from Krishna. When Radharani met Krishna at Kurukshetra, she remembered his intimate association in Vrindavan, and she thought, now I have gained the Lord of my life. In his absence I was being burned away by the arrow of Cupid, and thus I was withering. Now I have my life again. Next verse. When this refrain was loudly sung by Swarup Damodar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again began rhythmically dancing in transcendental bliss. The car of Lord Jagannath began to move slowly, while the son of Mother Sachi went ahead and danced in front. While dancing and singing, all the devotees in front of Lord Jagannath kept their eyes on him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then went to the end of the procession with the Sankirtan performers. His eyes and mind fully absorbed in Lord Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to play the drama of the song with his two arms. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dramatically enacting the song, he would sometimes fall behind in the procession. At such times, Lord Jagannath would come to a standstill. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again went forward, Lord Jagannath's car would slowly start again. Thus there was a sort of competition between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath in seeing who would lead, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so strong that he made Lord Jagannath wait in his car. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. After giving up the company of the gopis in Vrindavan, Sri Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, engaged in his pastimes at Dwarka. When Krishna went to Kurukshetra with his brother and sister and others from Dwarka, he again met the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Bhavaduti Suvalita, that is, Krishna himself, assuming the part of Srimati Radharani in order to understand Krishna. Lord Jagannath Dev is Krishna, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Srimati Radharani. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is leading Lord Jagannath towards Gandicha temple, corresponded to Srimati Radharani's leading Krishna toward Vrindavan. Sri Kshetra Jagannath Puri was taken as the kingdom of Dwarka, the place where Krishna enjoys supreme opulence. However, he was being led by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Vrindavan, a simple village where all the inhabitants are filled with ecstatic love for Krishna. Sri Kshetra is a place of Aishwarya Lila, just as Vrindavan is the place of Madhurya Lila. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's following at the rear of the Ratha indicates that Lord Jagannath Krishna was forgetting the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Although Krishna neglected the inhabitants of Vrindavan, he could never forget them. Thus, in his opulent Ratha Yatra, he was returning to Vrindavan. In the role of Srimati Radharani, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was examining whether the Lord still remembered the inhabitants of Vrindavan. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu fell behind the Ratha cart, Jagannath Dev, Krishna himself, understood the mind of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, Jagannath sometimes fell behind the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to indicate to Srimati Radharani that he had not forgotten her. Thus, Lord Jagannath would wait on the Ratha for their forward march. In this way, Lord Jagannath agreed that without the ecstasy of Srimati Radharani, he could not feel satisfied. While Jagannath was thus waiting, Gaur Sundar Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his ecstasy of Srimati Radharani, immediately came forward to see Krishna. At such times, Lord Jagannath would proceed ahead very slowly. These competitive exchanges were all a part of the love affair between Krishna and Srimati Radharani. In that competition between Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy for Jagannath and Jagannath's ecstasy for Srimati Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emerged successful. Amazing, all these details being brought out. We'll go a little bit further. There's so much more. And we're going to just touch a little bit on the verse of Sri Rupa Goswami Pad. Time is always ticking. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, his ecstasy changed. Raising his two arms, he began to recite the following verse in a loud voice. That very personality who stole away my heart during my youth is now again my master. These are the same moonlit nights of the month of Chaitra. The same fragrance of malati flowers is there, and the same sweet breezes are blowing from the Kadamba forest. In our intimate relationship, I am also the same lover. Yet still my mind is not happy here. I am eager to go back to that place on the bank of the Reva, under the Vetasi tree. That is my desire. So the question is, what is the Reva and what is the Vetasi tree? Sri Rupa Goswami is using this verse to make a representation of Radharani's mood in desiring the setting of Vrindavan. This verse appears in the Padyavati by Srila Rupa Goswami. This verse was recited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again, but for Swarup Damodar, no one could understand its meaning. I have already explained this verse, now I shall simply describe it in brief. Earlier in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gives a whole summary of the Madhya and Antya Lila, his post-sannyas Lila. So he described this. Formally, that's Madhya Lila chapter 1. Formerly, all the gopis of Vrindavan were very pleased when they met with Krishna in the holy place Kurukshetra. Similarly, after seeing Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu awoke with the ecstasy of the gopis. Being absorbed in this ecstasy, he asked Swarup Damodar to sing the refrain. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke thus to Lord Jagannath. You are the same Krishna, and I am the same Radharani. We are meeting again in the same way that we met in the beginning of our lives. Although we are both the same, my mind is still attracted to Vrindavan Dham. I wish that you will please again appear with your lotus feet in Vrindavan. Kurukshetra is crowded with people, their elephants and horses, and the rattling of chariots. In Vrindavan, however, there are flower gardens, and the humming of bees and chirping of birds can be heard. Here at Kurukshetra, you are dressed like a royal prince, accompanied by great warriors, but in Vrindavan you appear just like an ordinary cowherd boy, accompanied only by your beautiful flute. Here there is not even a drop of the ocean of transcendental happiness that I enjoyed with you in Vrindavan. I therefore request you to come to Vrindavan and enjoy pastimes with me. If you do so, my ambition will be fulfilled. I have already described in brief Srimati Radharani's statement from Srimad Bhagavatam. In that ecstatic mood, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited many other verses, but people in general could not understand their meaning. The meaning of those verses was known to Swarup Damodar Goswami, but he did not reveal it. However, Sri Rup Goswami has broadcasted the meaning. All glory to Sri Rup Goswami. While dancing, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again began to recite that verse, which he tasted in the association of Swarup Damodar Goswami. The gopis spoke thus: Dear Lord, whose navel is just like a lotus flower, your lotus feet are the only shelter for those who have fallen into the deep well of material existence. Your feet are worshipped and meditated upon great mystic yogis and highly learned philosophers. We wish that these lotus feet may also be awakened within our hearts, although we are only ordinary persons engaged in household affairs. Srila Gurudev explains that this verse that the gopis speak is one example of, I forget what it's called, but double speech. So even though they're saying that, may your lotus feet please be awakened within our heart, we're just ordinary persons, they're also saying that they're calling him Padmanabha, which means that you're born from that. They're saying that you're even worshipped by Lord Brahma, the first created being. And they're saying that Lord Brahma is born from inert lotus flower, and he worships you. And so anyone who's born from an inert matter is not very intelligent at all. So like that, we shouldn't worship you. And they're like chastising him and criticizing him. Very interesting. Gurudevi mentions this verse on Om Padmanabhaya Namaha. But Srila Prabhupada, of course, glorifies their the submissive mood very sweetly. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam. The gopis were never interested in karma yoga, jnana yoga, or dhyana yoga. They were simply interested in bhakti. Unless they were forced, they never liked to meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord. Rather, they preferred to take the lotus feet of the Lord and place them on their breasts. Sometimes they regretted that their breasts were so hard, fearing that Krishna might not be very pleased to keep his soft lotus feet there. When those lotus feet were pricked by the grains of sand in the Vrindavan pasturing grounds, the gopis were pained and began to cry. The gopis wanted to keep Krishna at home always, and in this way their minds were absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Such pure Krishna consciousness can arise only in Vrindavan. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to explain his own mind, which was saturated in the ecstasy of the gopis. Next verse. Speaking in the mood of Srimati Radharani, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, For most people, the mind and heart are one, but because my mind is never separated from Vrindavan, I consider my mind and Vrindavan to be one. My mind is already Vrindavan, and since you are like Vrindavan, will you please place your lotus feet there? I would deem that your full mercy. So nice. So that's where you're saying our heart is Vrindavan, so please come. Prabhupada's purports are amazing too. Purport, only when the mind is free from designations can one desire the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The mind must have some occupation. If a person is to be free from material things, his mind cannot be vacant. There must be subject matters of thinking, feeling, and willing. Unless one's mind is filled with thoughts of Krishna, feelings for Krishna, and a desire to serve Krishna, the mind will be filled with material activities. Those who have given up all material activities and have ceased thinking of them should always retain the ambition to think of Krishna. Without Krishna, one cannot live, just as a person cannot live without some enjoyment for his mind. Next verse. My dear Lord, kindly hear my true submission. My home is Vrindavan, and I wish your association there. But if I do not get it, then it will be very difficult for me to keep my life. Oh, nice. Here are some verses that are leftish. My dear Krishna, formerly when you were staying in Mathura, you sent Uddhava to teach me speculative knowledge in mystic yoga. Now you yourself are speaking the same thing, but my mind does not accept it. Oh yeah, Krishna, yeah. So there's like a whole conversation that goes on here between Radharani and Krishna. And of course Krishna's trying his usual trickery. And he goes up and he's saying, I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There's no possibility of us being separate. Don't feel any separation. Actually, everything comes from me, so you are made of my love, so no reason to feel separation. All these things. Now you yourself are speaking the same thing, but my mind does not accept this. There is no place in my mind for Jnana Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. Although you know me very well, you are still instructing me in Gyan and Dhyan. It is not right for you to do so. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, I would like to withdraw my consciousness from you and engage it in material activities, but even though I try, I cannot do so. I am naturally inclined to you only. Your instructions for me to meditate on you are therefore simply ludicrous. In this way, you are killing me. It is not very good for you to think of me as a candidate for your instructions. The gopis are not like the mystic yogis. They will never be satisfied simply by meditating on your lotus feet and imitating the so-called yogis. Teaching the gopis about meditation is another kind of duplicity. When they are instructed to undergo mystic yoga practice, they are not at all satisfied. On the contrary, they become more angry with you. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, the gopis are fallen in the great ocean of separation, and they are being devoured by the Timingala fish, which represent their ambition to serve you. The gopis are to be delivered from the mouths of these Timingala fish, for they are pure devotees. Since they have no material conception of life, why should they aspire for liberation? The gopis do not want that liberation desired by yogis and jnanis, for they are already liberated from the ocean of material existence. It is amazing that you have forgotten the land of Vrindavan. And how is it that you have forgotten your father, mother, and friends? How have you forgotten Govardhan Hill, the bank of the Yamuna, and the forest where you enjoyed the Rasa Leela dance? It's amazing. They think that they're worried that he forgot about them. But it's explained that in Briha Bhagavatamrita that he's always crying on his pillow. He's like soaking his pillow and he's saying the names of his cows. And it's Yot Mashoda Mayi Nanda Baba, what to speak of Sri Radha. Krishna, you are certainly a refined gentleman with all good qualities. You are well behaved, soft-hearted, and merciful. I know that there is not even a tinge of fault to be found in you. Yet your mind does not even remember the inhabitants of Vrindavan. This is only my misfortune and nothing else. I do not care for my personal unhappiness, but when I see the morose face of your mother Yasoda and the hearts of all the inhabitants of Vrindavan breaking because of you, I wonder whether you want to kill them all. Is it that you want to enliven them by coming there? Is it you are simply keeping them alive in a state of suffering? In that last verse, she was saying, it's my fault, actually. She's saying, it's my misfortune, I'm suffering the past misdeeds of my own. But so what about me? You're making your mother suffer and everyone is suffering so much. The inhabitants of Vrindavan do not want you dressed like a prince, nor do they want you to associate with great warriors in a different country. They cannot leave the land of Vrindavan, and without your presence, they are all dying. What is their condition to be? My dear Krishna, you are the life and soul of Vrindavan Dham. You are especially the life of Nanda Maharaj. You are the only opulence in the land of Vrindavan, and you are very merciful. Please come and let them all live. Kindly keep your lotus feet again in Vrindavan. Purport. Srimati Radharani did not express her personal unhappiness at being separated from Krishna. She wanted to evoke Krishna's feelings for the condition of all others in Vrindavan Dham. Amazing, she's like pulling on his heartstrings. Mother Yashoda, Maharaj Nanda, the cowherd boys, the gopis, the birds and bees on the banks of the Yamuna, the water of the Yamuna, the trees, forests, and all other paraphernalia associated with Krishna before he left Vrindavan for Mathura. These feelings of Srimati Radharani were manifested by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and therefore he invited Lord Jagannath Krishna to return to Vrindavan. That is the purport of the Ratha Yatra's car going from Jagannath Puri to the Gandicha temple. After hearing Srimati Radharani's statements, Lord Krishna's love for the inhabitants of Vrindavan was evoked, and his body and mind became very perturbed. After hearing of their love for him, he immediately thought himself to be always indebted to the residents of Vrindavan. Then Krishna began to pacify Srimati Radharani as follows. My dearest Srimati Radharani, please hear me. Now Krishna will speak. I am speaking the truth. I cry day and night simply upon remembering all you inhabitants of Vrindavan. No one knows how unhappy this makes me. Sri Krishna continued, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan Dham, my mother, father, cowherd boyfriends, and everything else are like my life and soul. And among all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, the gopis are my very life and soul. Among the gopis, you, Srimati Radharani, are the chief. Therefore, you are my very life of my life. Purport. Srimati Radharani is the center of all Vrindavan's activities. In Vrindavan, Krishna is the instrument of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan still chant, Jai Radhe, Radhe Radhe. From Krishna's own statement given herein, it appears that Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada is declaring it. And that Krishna is simply her decoration. Wow, such a good line from Srila Prabhupada. I'll repeat. From Krishna's own statement given herein, it appears that Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan and that Krishna is simply her decoration. Krishna is known as Madan Mohan, the enchanter of Cupid, but still, Srimati Radharani is the enchanter of Krishna. Consequently, Srimati Radharani is called Madan Mohan Mohini, the enchanter of Cupid. Next verse from Sri Krishna. My dear Srimati Radharani, I am always subservient to the loving affairs of all of you. I am under your control only. My separation from you and residence in distant places have occurred due to my strong misfortune. Now he's all getting humble. It's amazing because as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's there tasting what she's experiencing. It's such a profound situation, this Mahaprabhu Ratha Yatra. When a woman is separated from the man she loves, this is Krishna, or a man is separated from his beloved woman, neither of them can live. It is a fact that they will live only for one another. For if one dies and the other hears of it, he or she will die also. A loving chaste wife and a loving husband who desire all welfare for each other in separation and do not care for personal happiness, desire only one another's well-being. Such a pair certainly meet again without delay. You are my most dear, and I know that in my absence you cannot live for a moment. Just to keep you living, I worship Lord Narayan. By his merciful potency, I come to Vrindavan every day to enjoy pastimes with you. Krishna is saying, I'm worshiping Lord Narayan to keep you living. I then returned to Dwarka Dham. In Dwarka, he created a Gupta Vrindavan, just so that he could do pastimes there and feel like he's with the Vrajavasis. Thus, you can always feel my presence here in Vrindavan. Our love affair is more powerful because of my good fortune in receiving Narayan's grace. This allows me to come here unseen by others. I hope that very soon I will be visible to everyone. I think he's saying that he's come and comes into the heart of the inhabitants in their separation. I have already killed all the mischievous demons who are enemies of the Yadu dynasty, and I have also killed Kamsa and his allies. However, there are 2 or 4 demons still living. I want to kill them, and after doing so, I shall very soon return to Vrindavan. Please know this for certain. I'm coming back very soon, he promises. But he's always saying this. I wish to protect the inhabitants of Vrindavan from the attacks of my enemies. That is why I remain in my kingdom. Otherwise, I am indifferent to my royal position. Whatever wives, sons, and wealth I have maintained in the kingdom are only for the satisfaction of the Yadus. Your loving qualities always attract me to Vrindavan. Indeed, they will bring me back within 10 or 20 days. And when I return, I shall enjoy both day and night with you and all the damsels of Brajabhumi. While speaking to Srimati Radharani, Krishna became very anxious to return to Vrindavan. He made her listen to a verse which banished all her difficulties and which assured her that she would again attain Krishna. Almost there. Lord Shri Krishna said, "Devotional service unto me is the only way to attain me, my dear gopis. Whatever love and affection you have attained for me by good fortune is the only reason for my returning to you." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would sit in his room with Swarup Damodar and taste the topics of these verses day and night. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced completely absorbed in ecstatic emotion. While looking at the face of Lord Jagannath, he danced and recited these verses. No one can describe the good fortune of Swarup Damodar Goswami, for he is always absorbed in the service of the Lord with his body, mind, and words. The senses of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were identical with the senses of Swarup. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to become fully absorbed in tasting the singing of Swarup Damodar. Wow. Today is also the disappearance of Sri Swarup Damodar. In emotional ecstasy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would sometimes sit on the ground and looking down would write on the ground with his finger. Feeling that the Lord would injure his finger by writing in this way, Swarup Damodar checked him with his own hand. Swarup Damodar used to sing exactly according to the ecstatic emotion of the Lord. Whenever a particular mellow was being tasted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarup Damodar would personify it by singing. Amazing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked upon the beautiful lotus-like face and eyes of Lord Jagannath. It's hard to stop all this nectar, but I think we have to call it. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada is so merciful to have manifested this. And by Srila Gurudev's commentary, so much more insight given. If anyone wants to dive deeper into this, seriously check out this book. There's 2 chapters. I think the reunion at Kurukshetra and Krishna meets the gopis at Kurukshetra, just phenomenal. And all of the histories about the manifestation of Jagannath, Baladev, and Subhadra are also here. Okay, go to Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Shri Ratha Yatra ki jai, Shri Sachinanda Gauda Hari ki jai, Shri Radha Raman Bihari Ju ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaura Hari. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Shri Swarup Damodar ki jai, Shri Shivananda Sena Das ki jai, Shri Ratha Yatra ki jai, Nitai Gauda Premanande. Do you want to sing the Jagannath Astakam really quick?
Sure.
Maybe do you want to put the camera on top, Reggie?
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Do you know what page?
page 300.
Want to read it after or first?
First.
Okay. Sometimes Sri Jagannath Dev, we're singing Sri Jagannath Astakam, if anyone would like to participate, page 300 in the Gaudiya Giti Gucha. Sometimes Sri Jagannath Dev makes supremely sweet, melodious music with his flute within the groves along the banks of the Yamuna. Like a bee thirsty for honey, he jubilantly relishes the lotus faces of the gopis. His feet are offered worship by great personalities such as Lakshmi, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Ganesha. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. In his left hand he holds a flute. Upon his head he wears the tail plumes of a peacock feather, and around his waist is fine silken cloth. From the corners of his eyes he bestows sidelong glances upon his companions. It is known that his pastimes perpetually take place within the land of Sri Vrindavan. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. On the shore of the great ocean, within his palace atop the brilliant golden crest of Nilachal, that's Jagannath Puri, the blue mountain, he resides with his powerful brother Baladev Ji, and their sister Subhadra, who is situated between them. He bestows upon all the demigods the opportunity to serve him. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. He is an ocean of mercy, and his bodily complexion is as beautiful as a bank of blackish rain clouds. He enjoys with Lakshmi and Saraswati, and his face resembles a fully blossomed and spotless lotus. He is worshipped by the foremost of the demigods, and his transcendental glories are sung by the topmost scriptures. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. As Jagannath Dev travels along the road, mounted upon his chariot, he is met at every step by throngs of brahmanas who sing his praises. Upon hearing them, he bestows mercy upon them. He is an ocean of mercy and the true friend of all the worlds. May Jagannath Swami, accompanied by Lakshmi Devi, the daughter of the ocean, kindly enter the pathway of my vision. Sri Jagannath Dev is the crest jewel of all manifestations of the Supreme Absolute Truth, and his eyes are like the petals of a fully blossomed blue lotus. He resides at Nilachal, and he places his feet on the head of Anantashesh Nag. Being blissfully immersed in Bhakti Ras, he derives great happiness from embracing the rasa-laden body of Srimati Radhika. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. I do not pray for a kingdom, nor for gold, jewels, wealth, or for a delightful wife as desired by all men. My only prayer is that Sri Jagannath Dev, whose splendid glories are sung at every moment by Shiva, the lord of ghosts and demons, may kindly enter the pathway of my vision. O Master of godly beings, quickly deliver me from this fleeting and meaningless worldly existence. O Lord of the Yadus, kindly purge me of my ocean of sins that has no shore. Aho, it is certain that you bestow your lotus feet upon those who are lowly and devoid of any shelter. May Jagannath Swami kindly enter the pathway of my vision. One who carefully recites this sacred Jagannathastakam, upon becoming sinless and pure-hearted, will attain entrance into Vishnu Loka. Jai. What is it? Are you going to start it? No. We'll do it all together. Kamala Swadama Rupa Swami Nayana Kalam Nejatante Sajakatak Shamidadate Sada Shrimad Vrindavana Vasati Lila Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Mahamudistire Nakaruchire Nilasikare Vasan Prasadanta Sahaja Balavajena Bali Samasta Sakala Sura Seva Sado Jagannath Swami Nayana Vatagami Bhavatu Sajala Jala Dasheni Vichiro Ramavani Ramaspor Ramalapamke Rugamuga Surendra Radya Shrutigana Sika Gita Sharita Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatu me Arudaga Chanpati Milata Budeva Pachalai Siddhi Pradhur Bhavam Pratipadam Upakanya Sadai Jaya Sindur Bandhu Sakala Jagatam Sindhu Sataya Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Tume Alam Rama Pidaku Hilaya Galota Kanayano Nivasini Rajani Tacharanaranta Shayasi Rasa Nandi Radha Sarasava Puralingana Sugo Jagannath Swami Nayana Vatagami Bhavatume Navaya Chirajyama Cheham Nam Yam Sakala Janakam Yam Varavaru Kale Kale Kamatanatinam Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatuni Alatam Saya Santu Tatarama Salam Surapate Adatvam Papanam Vitamya Paramya Davapate Odinanata Sita Charanoni Sritamidam Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatune Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatune Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jagannatha Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaiva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namo